Hi everybody, so today I'm going to be doing my everyday makeup routine. I'm going to be doing a work edition one. That is why I've got no makeup on my face. I'm trying a slightly different type of filming for this tutorial. It's actually going to be quite chatty. So first things first, I'm just going to push my hair away from my face and just clip it up. I like to clip my hair up out of my face when I'm doing my makeup, just so it's not in the way. And then I'm ready to do my face. So I'm going to start off by using the number 7 Smoothing and Brightening Eye Base. It's just like a salmon-y pink coloured corrector and I really enjoy this. I like to apply underneath my eyes as I get a lot of darkness in the inner corner of my eye, and I find that this is just like a great first step before I think about putting any foundation on. As this is a work edition, I'm going to be using Vichy Dermablend. This stuff is amazing. It lasts pretty much all day. It's not totally sweat proof, but it's like the best foundation I've found so far that looks good on my skin, even if I've been running around all day and my skin's starting to like go a bit patchy. This still looks really good, considering like other foundations have not beaten this one yet. And I have 2 shades and I'm going to be using 15 Opal today as I'm all pale and I have no fake tan on, and this is just my non-fake tan shade. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some and just dot it all over the face, and I just apply a little bit onto the face and down the neck, and then if I need to add more I usually do. I'm going to be taking the Real Techniques sculpting brush with this foundation as I find it works best with it, and I'm just going to buff that in to the skin, and I find that this method with the brush and the foundation just is like a winning combination, and it lasts so long on the skin, and this just gives such a nice flawless look that on the days where I'm like running late for work or anything like that, which I haven't done yet, this is just like a quick and easy thing to do, and I know I'm going to have a nice flawless face still, even though I didn't spend that long doing my makeup. As I sometimes get the odd blemish, I'm going to be using the Lasting Perfection Concealer by Collection on any breakouts or scarring I have, and this is just a great like heavy coverage concealer that's still quite light on the skin and it's like not too cakey, so it's very buildable if you find that, say, like a spot or some scarring isn't getting covered up. I'm going to be taking the Real Techniques contour brush just to buff the concealer out so it's all nice and even. I'm now going to take the Collection Sheer Loose powder, and I'm also going to be taking the Real Techniques Duo Fibre contour brush. I find that these work really well when I'm using this foundation, as I just pat the powder down into place, and I find that it just looks better and it lasts longer when you like pat the powder down instead of sweeping it across the face. So I'm just going to start off by patting it around the nose area, just so that is all set as I find my makeup disappears from my nose first and then it starts to go elsewhere. I like to set my under eye concealer and my eyelids as well, just so they don't crease as well, because I find that sometimes they tend to crease. And I get a lot of breakouts on my chin, I do, so I like to make sure that that is all flawless, and I'll connect it up to my top lip as well, just so that is all powdered. I do get a bit of a shiny forehead. I do have slightly oily skin, so I like to make sure that that's all nice and set. I powder my whole entire face because I have slightly oily skin. Now we're going to move on to bronzer. I love wearing bronzer no matter what day it is, and I love this Tarte bronzer. It's the Amazonian Clay bronzer in Park Ave Princess. It's just amazing, and I'm going to be using the Zoeva Face Definer brush with this, as I find it just buffs the product into the face so well that it doesn't look too over the top, even if you build up the bronzer loads, which I like to do. For blush, I'm going to be taking the Natural Collection blusher in Peach Melba, and I'm going to be using the Zoeva Sheer Face brush. This is my favourite blusher ever, and I just like to sweep that onto the cheeks and up towards the temples, as I find it just gives a nice flush of colour. And because it's quite a natural looking blush, it's not too OTT. Before we move on to highlight, I'm going to start off by doing my brows and my eyes, and I'm going to be using the Soap & Glory Archery Brow Pencil in the shade Hot Chocolate, and I'm just going to brush through my brows and pop them into some shape so they look a little bit semi-decent already, and then I'm going to fill them in I just like to do small little brush strokes with this little nib to fill them in. I was before a powder and pencil girl, and after using this it has just changed the way I use eyebrow products and how my eyebrows look. They just look so much more defined and they're so much more neater as well, and I can get them to look a little bit more even, and I can fill in like the sparse areas and not be like too worried about going too big on my brows. I can keep them nice and sleek looking and create like a longer angle with them and everything, and just make them overly 10 times better than what they used to look like. I'm then going to take the Beauty UK highbrow kit with the Zoeva winged liner brush. I'm just going to take this light brown. I'm just going to brush this through the eyebrows just to create basically a little bit more definition and kind of set that pencil in place without using like a brow gel. It just defines them a little bit better and fills them out just that little bit more and gets away any like shininess from the hair, but also at the same time kind of keeps them in place without having to use a brow gel, which at the moment I'm not really into using. And I just really like how like this looks a little bit more natural with just a little sweep of powder through the brows. Now onto eyeshadow. I won't be zooming in as I just want to keep this angle and not faff about with angles and camera moving and everything like that. I just want to keep it nice and relaxed for this video. I'm going to be using the Steal It in the Light palette, but I do have an alternative for anybody that is on a budget or just doesn't want to go buy the Stealer palette in case like you just don't want to. I personally love this Stealer palette. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It's the best thing I've bought in quite a while, and I've been using it loads recently because it's just so easy to use. But I also have this as an alternative, which is the MUA Undress Me 2 palette. There are quite a few shades that are similar to these. Like the top row is just pretty much identical to each other. Then there's a few bottom shades that are quite similar. I just thought if you have this palette or you want to grab this one for like £4 in Superdrug to create this look, you can. But if you already have this one, there's no need to get the MUA one. So I'm going to be taking the Zoeva All Over Shaded brush, and I'm going to pretty much using this the whole entire time for the tutorial. And I'm going to be taking Bare all over this. But if you are using the Zoeva palette, you would be taking Naked, which is this one right here. And basically what we're just going to do is we're going to take that and just wash that all over the lid just to create a base basically. So you are ready for like the rest of the colour and you're just washing out any veins or any imperfections that are on the lid. I'm then going to take my favourite shade out of this palette, which is Kitten, which is right next to it, which is this beautiful shimmer shade. And if you are using the MUA palette, you would be taking the third shade in, which is Shy, and they are very similar. My one is just a tad bit more shimmery. And just going to be putting that on the same brush and just patting that all over the lid. And I just love this. I really like doing glowy, shimmery makeup when I go to work, just because it makes you look a little bit more fresh faced, especially when you're doing a 7 AM start. It just makes you look so much more awake than using matte shade. And then I'm going to take the same brush and use Bubbly, which is this beautiful like golden shimmer. And if you was again using the MUA palette, you'd be taking Devotion, which is this one right here, the second colour in. Just going to apply that to like the outer corners and like to the middle of the lid, and kind of like leaving the inner corner with just Kitten and Bare on. You just want to bring that up a little bit as well. We're now ditching the fluffy brush and we're going to be taking the Zoeva Petite Crease brush, and I'm going to be taking Bliss, which is this lovely taupey shade right here. And the MUA palette, you would be taking this shade, which is Lavish. And what we're going to do is we're just going to apply that into the crease just to create a bit of definition into the eye. This is like really the only matte shade apart from one other that we're going to be using, and this is just to apply definition into the crease just to give the look a little bit more depth. And I also just love this shade. There's like an all over lid colour. I think it's absolutely beautiful because it's like a taupe colour, but it's got like a little undertone of purple to it, I feel. And then going to be taking Sunset and Sandstorm, which are the two shades at the end. And if you're using the MUA palette, you would be using Fiery, which is this coppery shade right here, and then you would use Dreamy, which is at the end. So just going to load both shades onto the same brush and just apply that to the outer corner working your way into the crease just a little bit and then back out to the outer corner again. Just like a sweeping, slightly buffering motion. I'm then going to be taking this smudger brush and I'm going to be taking Sandstorm, which is this dark brown shade, on the brush, and you would be using Dreaming for the MUA palette, and I'm just going to basically get the smudger brush and load it up with that shade, and I'm just going to smudge out the lash line with this just to give it a little bit more of a worn in look, and then do the underneath as well, just so it's a little bit more, not put together, just a little bit more natural, not really natural, is it? I don't know, I just really like the way it looks when you kind of smudge it out a little bit more. It's not like too over the top, it just looks a little bit more everyday instead of like over the top nighttime. I'm just going to quickly blend that together with the Sigma brush and just make sure it's all blended nicely. I'm now going to be taking my LA Colours liquid eyeliner and I'm just going to draw a little tiny line onto my lashes. We're now going to curl our eyelashes now we've done the liquid liner, and we're going to prep them for mascara. I'm going to be using the Maybelline The Rocket Mascara in waterproof. I use waterproof as I find that it just holds the curl longer, and I also find that it doesn't transfer onto any of my skin, especially when I'm at work, and if I rub my eyes I know I don't have to worry about looking like a panda after doing so. I'm now going to highlight, and we're going back to the Stila palette, and basically I've been using this as a highlight for so long now, like for quite a few weeks, and we're just going to be taking the setting brush by Real Techniques, and we're going to be taking Kitten, which is this shade right here, and we're going to be highlighting our cheekbones and obviously the bridge of our nose and all that jazz, and I find that this is an amazing highlight, and you just want to take the same colour if you want to use that as a highlight from the MUA palette if you have that one. If not, just use a highlight that you already own and love to use. I've just been loving this as it's a lot more subtle than like my MAC one, and I also find that it lasts longer, it just looks nicer on the skin, and I just think it's absolutely amazing, and I can't believe I've gone so long without using it before. And I'm going to apply it to my Cupid's bow as well, just to make that look a little bit fuller. And then my brow bones, just to give that a little bit of pop of colour, and I'm just so over the moon with it. I think it looks so good, and it just means that this palette is so much more multi-useful that I can take it away with me as well, and I know that I can create quite a few looks with it. I don't need to take a highlighter with me, and I've also used the dark brown before as a brow powder, so I know I can use this for a wide range of things. And then for my lips, I already have it on and it's sunken in already, but I like to wear the Elizabeth Arden 8 Hour Cream on my lips as a lip balm, and I basically just apply this before I go to work, and it just keeps my lips feeling really nice and soft all day long. I don't see the point of wearing like lipstick or anything like that when I'm at work, because I'm talking all the time, I'm drinking tea, coffee and all that, and I'm eating my lunch in a rush. I don't have time to keep checking it and reapplying lipstick when I need to, so a good old lip balm to keep my lips moisturised just is the best thing ever. So I'm now taking my hair down, and that is the completed look. It's just quite nice and natural, a little bit dramatic with the liquid eyeliner, but it's just a really simple everyday look that anyone can recreate using a budget version or a high-end version. You can use either one and this look will still be exactly the same, and it lasts all day and it looks great from the start of the day to the end of the day after a long day of work. So yeah, I hope you like this, and if you have, please give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, go hit the subscribe button wherever it is, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Bye!